Welcome everyone. Happy Sunday. I am not standing in front of the Back to the Future courthouse square. I am standing in St. Cloud, Florida, and there is a car in the middle of the road. So I need to probably move out of the way. Now, if I was in Southern California, there would be more than one car. There would be a ton of vehicles driving through here, but I am not in Southern California. I'm in Central Florida, St. Cloud, Florida to be exact, and I am back to my old stomping grounds, and who better to walk around the old stomping grounds with me better than this gentleman right over here. My dad is wandering around in the shrubbery. I don't know what he's doing over there. What are you doing over there, Dad? Oh, he's vlogging also for his channel, JWW on the Move.
Over there is AdamTheWoo.
I know why you're standing there, because the sun is here.
That is exactly
The shade
why I'm
is
standing
here.
in the shade.
And you taught me, I think somehow we have taught each other, my dad taught me at a very young age, to stay out of the sun. And that is why I have a passion for shade. So just wandering around St. Cloud, Florida, my old stomping grounds, my old apartment used to actually be way over there. Well, actually not too far, about one block up on the left-hand side. I just wanted to wander around and show you guys basically where kind of not really I grew up. My adult life I was spent in St. Cloud, Florida. I was born in 1974 in Tupelo, Mississippi. We moved all over. My dad was a minister, so he would travel from church to church to church. We ended up in the panhandle of Florida. We lived in Oklahoma for a while. And then in 1991, when I was 15 or 16, we moved here to St. Cloud, and I lived in the St. Cloud, Kissimmee, Orlando, Florida area up until the end of 2014. Actually, on New Year's Day, I arrived in Orange County, California, and I have been there ever since. And I actually remember using this payphone many a times, standing right here, looking at the hardware store, which was actually located right there. At that time in 1991, this was actually a hardware store, and that hardware store used to actually be over there back in the day, and this was the first hardware store, I think, in Florida, which now has actually been moved up from St. Cloud to Kissimmee, Florida. I believe it's called Makinson's Hardware, which is up in Kissimmee, Florida, but it all started right here on this block for Osceola County, Florida. So let's see what my dad is doing. You want to wander down the road and see what we can see?
We're going to wander. He's going to get me out of the sun if it's the last thing he does.
But you can see a lot of these old buildings. Like this is dated 1914. So there's definitely a lot of history here. Oh yeah, I was correct. I was telling them how this was the original hardware store in Florida. I think Central Florida, maybe even in Florida, and it used to actually be next to the St. Cloud Hotel on the other side, and then it moved here in 1914. Then it became some sort of like an eatery, like an Irish pub.
It was an Irish pub, yeah.
And Makinson's Hardware actually is now up in Kissimmee on Main Street in Kissimmee, Florida, but it started in this building after it was in that building. So that building first, then it moved here, and then it moved up to Kissimmee, and that hardware store,
Is that the
it
hardware
still
store
exists.
with the mural on the side
Yes.
of the downtown area and everything?
It has
Like
a
the
mural
horse out front?
Yep. I think
That's
the
the
horse
one.
might be up on the balcony, kind of like overlooking as people walk in,
Yeah, I
perhaps,
think you're
something
right.
like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
But it all began right over here, and even though this place is closed, you can see they've left the ceiling fans on. They've left all the ceiling fans on.
No, I think that's the wind.
Oh, that's the breeze.
I think that is the cool breeze.
the cool
in
breeze.
The shade. He's out in the sun.
I've always say that my mood can change dramatically by stepping from the shadow into the light. I'm not a vampire, but it might be. Maybe at a young age
Maybe
I was
that's
bitten.
what it is, yes.
I was bitten by the shade.
Like a vampire.
Now, last time I was here, this was actually, I think this was like a coffee shop, and then it became a place where children would actually play games, like board games, like more like kind of like Dungeons and Dragons and those types of like board games for like teenage
Looks like a clothing store.
children. And now it is called Back on the Rack, a hiding place for treasures.
Yes.
And I guess really the only treasures I see are the little few jewels that are hanging. There's actually more coat hangers than there are actual treasures here. And this small fern.
This looks like a frame. Some kind of a frame, like you would hang a dress on it or put a dress on it.
You would hang a dress, and then I guess you could hang all your jewels on the little
Hangy
the little hangy hooks that are there. And you can see it's Sunday. There's not a lot of people out. Most of the businesses that are out here are not open on Sundays. Most of the businesses are established here in town, do very well Monday through Friday, because that is when the city hall employees are there. But on the weekends, as you can see, it's not really a lot of activity roaming around town. And there is the old St. Cloud Hotel, which is actually really cool. You can actually go online and look at like a lot of really old pictures. And a lot of people actually say that the old St. Cloud Hotel is legitimately haunted. They say that this hotel is legitimately haunted. The Haunted Hotel of St. Cloud, Florida. Look at this. The Haunted Hotel. My dad has no fear, though. He's like a Ghostbuster. He ain't afraid of no ghost. And he's going up to the ghost. Maybe they put the ghost here because they say this place is haunted. In fact, ghost investigation crews have actually done research up there. I do not know what they actually found. But here is a ghost right here. You do not even need to be a ghost investigation and research crew to even realize that there are ghosts. Now they say, some people say now that this is a haunted hotel. I don't know why they would say that.
Jack-o'-lanterns there. Somebody had to cut the faces on the jack-o'-lanterns. So
but look, is the door unlocked?
No.
But if you look inside, pretty much everything looks the same as how it did basically back when it was built. You can actually see over to the right-hand side, you can actually see where guests would check in, the mail slots behind the windows. So behind this window, you would actually see the mail slots inside of there.
Is that like the banquet hall at the end of the hall down there?
There is a banquet hall down there. There's actually a stairway over to the right. And the very top floor is off limits to the public. No one is allowed up there. So basically, you cannot go. You can go to the second floor, but no one, the business owner, manager, will not let anyone on the top area. No one, because it is supposedly, now I am not saying it is this, I am just telling you what people have said, that it is haunted. That is haunted up there. And obviously, because there is a gargantuan bat with the face of a monkey that's actually right here. It's the great monkey bat. And there's no one even sitting here, because everyone, who in their right mind would sit at this table when there is a scary monkey bat, monkey bat. If you're going to be attacked by a monkey bat, the best thing you could do is just go hide out somewhere.
Yes.
Just go hide out.
Hide out from the
Just
monkey
go
bat.
hide out somewhere from the monkey bat.
He's even got monkey hands. Look at here.
He does?
Yeah, look at that. Look like a monkey.
Watch out! Watch out, Dad! No, I was warning you because he was starting to strangle you. He was starting to strangle you. He was
Scared me?
He was starting to strangle you. Look at this. That does not look like someone who is in prime physical condition.
Walking Dead. Walking Dead.
And up here,
The Hanging Dead.
the Hanging Dead. This guy just doesn't know what's going on. Do you know if this place is haunted or not? I don't know. Is this place haunted? Yeah. And it looks like he's actually hung himself. He strangled himself with his own cord, which is the last thing you want to do if you're trying to actually terrify passerbyers, is to actually invite your own doom by strangling yourself on your own cord.
Electrical cord. Talk about unplugged.
Hey, Timmy, will this cord cut off my circulation if I wrap it around my neck? I don't know. Well, I think his answer just came clear right there. So this is it. I used to live in this area. Heard many stories about the haunted hotel. I've never been to the top room. So leave some comments down below if you guys can do some Columbo-like research of your own about the haunted hotel. Is this place really haunted? Has anyone actually found any facts and figures online, posted any research that actually has like some legitimate confirmation if any spirits, if any ghosts have actually been seen inside of there? Please leave some comments down below. I'd love to read them and respond to them later. Look, the ghosts are here.
Is that as he makes up stuff while he's going along, he can think faster than me.
Not necessarily. I'm just good at using the same words, but I just change the words, even though I'm saying the same thing repetitively. I'm using a different word which means the same thing, so it seems like think, whatever things. And some people also say that the Hunter Arms Hotel is haunted. I do not know.
Across the street.
Yeah, that was actually a movie that was filmed there called 2000 Maniacs was filmed there, and also The Water Boy with Adam Sandler was actually filmed in there. And there's also been other things filmed in here.
They did a car wreck scene of the Superboy scene.
They did.
Out front with the wrecked car right there.
The wrecked car was actually down at the next block. I did a vlog on that maybe a year and a half ago. Just look up Superboy, TheDailyWoo. The car scene was at the next block. This was the scene where Superboy, the final scene of the show, I think it was maybe season 5 or 6 of Superboy, was actually right here in front of the Hunter Arms
Right here in front
Hotel.
of the Hunter Arms.
This is where it happened. And recently also, which I've documented in past vlogs back when I actually lived here in St. Cloud, Florida, is about a year ago, they removed all of the actual concrete off of here. And now the brick is actually back, and I actually titled that vlog, Brave the Brick. St. Cloud, brave the brick. And there's been a lot of controversy with the people who actually live in St. Cloud and a lot of people in City Hall whether or not this is a good idea to bring the original OG brick back. But it's back, which is good to see that even after a year of me not being here, that the brick is still here and they have not put the concrete back
Bumpity, 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 bumpity when you drive along on the.
That's very, very true.
Bumpity, bumpity,
and I was telling them that there's a lot of
the
people,
car, the more bumpity.
They either like it or they do not like it. I think it's kind of neat to bring back a little bit of the history and the heritage of St. Cloud, Florida, the original Augusta block brick that is right here. So it makes it kind of rough on the shocks on the car.
I know where the brick came from.
Where did it come from?
Augusta. Probably Georgia. Probably Georgia.
Augusta block. Yep, Augusta, Georgia. Okay, that's about it from downtown St. Cloud. I want to keep this kind of short and sweet, but hanging out with my dad. I'm here till Thursday. Wandering around,
doing
talking about nothing, basically
playing every day,
doing nothing, hanging out, talking to Dad. So I'll be here till Thursday. You will be here till Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday. And maybe even possibly
That's
Monday.
pretty close, yeah.
And then I'll be flying back home. Hello. There, see, this is why St. Cloud is awesome. People just friendly. You do not get this in California.
Bumping along.
First of all, in California, there would be 3,000 people wandering the streets of Orange County. You do not see an elderly couple riding by in just on a one-lane area, one car driving down a two-lane street, waving, having a good time,
smiling, laughing at us,
and then having a good time, saying, "What are those people doing, talking to their phones?" In California, everyone's walking around like this. Hey, I'm talking to myself. I'm doing this. That's basically the gist of California compared to here. So definitely a little bit different ambiance here. Kind of like the old-timey town feel of St. Cloud. All right, it's time to go. It's time to say goodbye.
What are we going to say?
I say we just say goodbye.
All right, 1, 2, 3.
Goodbye.